Hi guys, my name is Precious and I'm a food and lifestyle blogger at preciouscore.com. You're welcome to my kitchen. Today I'll be showing you guys how I make my jollof rice. Now jollof rice is a popular meal in a number of African countries and Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, in Cameroon. I'm actually going to be showing you guys the Cameroonian version of jollof rice, and most especially the way my mother taught me, because different countries cook jollof rice in different ways, and even in Cameroon different people cook their jollof rice in different ways. So I'll be showing you guys how my mom taught me how to make jollof rice. This is like the best jollof rice ever. I mean, I'm not just talking based on the way I feel about it, but I've served this to a number of people and they keep telling me this is like the best rice they've ever had. It is so good. It is really flavorful. I cannot wait to show you guys how I make it. So let's go over the ingredients and then we can start cooking. Okay, you need rice, of course, because this is jollof rice. Right here I have 3 cups of parboiled rice. This rice is called Uncle Ben rice in Cameroon. Yeah, because maybe Uncle Ben was the first brand of this kind of rice, I don't know. But this is really ideal because it doesn't stick easily as other kinds of rice. So I would almost every time I'm making my Cameroonian jollof rice, I will use parboiled rice. Okay, right here I have a cup of canola oil, corn oil actually, you could use any oil you like, 3 cubes of Maggi, some salt. Then I have a can here. This is 8 ounces or 227 grams of tomato sauce. You could equally use tomato paste if you like. Now chopped onion, this is like a medium onion that I've chopped, about a cup of chopped onion, 2 stems of green onions that I've chopped, then 1 cup of chopped carrot from about 2 medium carrots, about a handful of green beans chopped, that gave me 1 cup of chopped green beans. At the back here, about half a cup of, about 3/4 of a cup actually of chopped green bell pepper. You could also use the other colors of peppers if you have access to that, but I really wanted to stay true to the traditional way because in Cameroon you will not find different colors of bell peppers easily, so I'm going just with the green. Okay, right here I have the spices, which are very important. This one here looks a little bit off in color because it was frozen and I took it out to thaw. This is basil that I chopped and I froze it so it can last long. I actually bought like a big quantity of this from the farmer's market. So these are about 2 stems of basil. Then right here I have a couple sprigs of cilantro. This like over 6 sprigs of cilantro there. Parsley too works just as well. Then this is like half a large stem of celery. If you're using like the smaller kind of celery, I would say go with about 1 or 2 stems of celery. Then 1 inch of ginger that I peeled and I chopped. Then 9 cloves of garlic, medium cloves. You could, if you're using larger cloves, about 5 or 6 would work just fine. Okay, right here I have about 5 large tomatoes that I blended. These gave me about 2 cups of tomato puree. So if you're using smaller tomatoes, you may have to, you know, up that number. Right here I have half a pound of beef, you know, just regular meat, and you could use more meat if you're a very meaty person, but yeah, that's half a pound of beef right there. So guys, that is all we need to make delicious jollof rice happen. Let's start cooking. So the very first thing I'm doing is blend my spices, because the spice blend is really important. It gives your jollof rice a lot of flavor. So very important component. I'm so excited about this recipe, like so excited. When you try jollof rice this way, I tell you, never want to cook it another way again. So tasty. So I just added a little bit of water to the spices. I'm going to blend this into a paste. Now look at that green goodness. And you can have, like, I think I've told you, if you've been watching me, I've said this before in another video, that you could do a lot of spices like this, like the same things I've blended. You could do a big batch of this blend, put in a container, then an airtight container, you lock it, you put it in your fridge and use. I could use it for like 2 weeks, you know, when I'm cooking, because I use this particular combination of spices a lot in a lot of recipes. Okay, so now that we have our spices ready, I'm going to boil our beef. So So our meat goes right into the little pot here, little cute pot, right? Then water just about the same level. I don't want like too much water, even though I want it to have a little bit of stock. So if I see that the water is going down, I'm going to add more. Now about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm just going to put in a little bit of chopped onion for flavor. Then a little bit of those spices. Then just going to give this a good mix. The spices will help the beef to be really, really tasty. Now all mixed up. Look at that. I'll add in a little bit more water because I want a little bit of stock from this beef. There. Then I'm going to turn this onto medium heat. Then I'll cover this and I'm going to let it cook for about 10 minutes. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Now that my meat is cooking, I'm just putting in here 3 cups of water for the rice. Then I'm going to put in a little bit of salt, not quite a little bit, probably about a teaspoon of salt. The rice. So I've put in some water and washed the rice the first time, and that's what it looks like. I'm not doing like a very rigorous washing here, just putting in small water. I'm going to wash this about 3 times. So our rice is boiling, our water, sorry, is boiling. So I'm just going to put in the rice. I'm going to use my hand to clean up so nothing is wasted. Just mixing this now. Now I'm going to cover this and let this rice cook until it is done. You don't want to add so much water. I'm probably not going to need to add any more water to the rice, so I'm just going to let that cook. I'll show you guys what it looks like. So we'll go over back to our beef right here, which has been cooking for about 10 minutes, and that is perfect. Oh my, look at that stock. I love the stock. Okay, so I'm just taking the beef out of the stock. Now my mom will normally just chop her beef and put into the rice like that, but I'm going to do something else to my beef, which is my own addition and which is so good. So I'm removing the beef. So this is jollof rice, you know, but not made like in one pot from the start, the way most jollof rice recipes are. Just follow along with me and you see how this jollof rice is going to happen. So I'm just putting my beef onto the chopping board, because one thing that is characteristic of Cameroonian jollof rice is that you can see like little bits of beef all around the rice. So you can chop it as little or as big as you want. So I'm just going to chop this into little bits. Not too little, because I'm going to be slightly browning this beef for flavor. That's the special thing I do to my beef. So like so. Okay, now the beef goes back into the pan here, and I'm adding just a little bit of salt, because when you take it out of the stock, it's not as salty. Just a pinch, you know, you don't want to over salt it. Now a little bit of that, our seasoning goodness, goes right onto the beef, because we want this beef to be super duper tasty. Now I'm just going to mix it. more, even though we seasoned it when we're boiling, but it's not as seasoned when you take it out of the stock, so you want to put a little bit more. I'm going to let this rest now, then we'll start making our sauce for the jollof rice. Now friends, I have my pot here. I'm going to put it on high heat, then I'm going to put in a little bit of the oil. I'll say about a quarter of the oil. I'm going to let this heat up, then I'm going to brown my meat. Now the oil has heated up for about 2 minutes, so I'm putting in my beef goodness. I'm going to spread this. This just yields so much flavor to the meat. I can't even, it's so good, so good. So I'll let this cook on each side for about 2 minutes, then I'll flip it on one side for 2 minutes, then I'll flip to the other side, cook for 2 minutes, so about 4 minutes in total to get that color. And see, this one's already beginning to get some color, so I'm just, look at that. That is divine. It puts the M in the meat. And like I said, I'm using really little meat because personal preferences. I could go with like double of this quantity, but I really want to keep it less meaty today. Now I'm going to take out that meat. Oh my goodness. Just taking out the last one. So, oh, one drop there. So I'm going to add in the rest of my oil. I'm going to let that heat up for about 3 minutes. Then we are going to saute our onions. So meanwhile, this is our rice. You can see there's a little bit of water inside, so I'm just going to reduce that heat. Then I'm going to let the steam finish up with the rice for me. Probably about 5 minutes, and I'll turn it off. Our oil has heated up, so onion, and I'll let this saute for about 3 minutes. Then I'm going to add in our fresh tomato puree. Okay, right now this has sauteed for about 3 minutes while I stood here stirring and drinking in all the flavors. Okay, I'm adding in my tomato puree. I'm going to give this a nice stir, and I'm going to let this cook until the tomato starts sticking to the bottom of the pan and it no longer tastes sour. So this has cooked for about 10 minutes, and you can see how much it has shrunk. Look at that. Now I'm adding in the tomato sauce. I'm just going to give this a nice stir. And I'll let them cook together for another 10 minutes or so. Now over here is our rice. So I just want you guys to see the texture of the rice. You can see that it's really, you know, separated, not clumpy. You don't want to cook your rice to be perfectly ready. It should just be a little bit hard. It shouldn't be done like perfectly done. No, it should be a little bit hard. That's it. That's what it looks like. So I'm just going to, as I'm fluffing this up, I'll just open it. Just open it up and let it cool down a little bit, and we'll come back to our rice when we need it in the other pot. Now those have cooked together for about 10 minutes, and I kept stirring from time to time just so it doesn't burn from under. So right now I'm going to add in our seasoning. I'm eventually going to rinse this so nothing wastes. Our spices, so good. Stirring it in the oil, because when I stir this in the oil, it just gives me a lot of flavor, which I really like. And I'm just going to let that cook in here for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, that is looking good. I'm going to my beef stock, but before then I'm just going to put in a teeny bit of water because I don't want to oversaturate this with water, and try to rinse out as much of this as I possibly can, so nothing should waste, right? Nice there. Then remember that beef stock comes right inside. Oh my goodness, because that flavor is unbeatable. I'm just going to let this simmer together for a few minutes, about 3 minutes. So right now I'm adding in my Maggi or stock cube, if you like. I'll give this a mix, and I'm going to let this simmer for another 2 minutes just so the Maggi can marry with the sauce, you know what I mean? So I'm going to taste it to ensure that the seasoning is perfect. Remember, we salted our rice, we salted our beef stock, so I've not added any extra salt in here. I'm just going to taste it to make sure that it's sufficiently salty. If it's not, I'll go in with a little more salt. So I tasted it and it could use a little bit more salt. Just adding a little bit more, just because I want to avoid adding in salt when the rice is already in there. Right now our vegetables come in. Our green onions, and just to say that you could substitute the green onions with leeks. You could use leeks instead. It will also taste really good. Give that a mix. Smells amazing. Now carrots and green beans. Mix. Now our bell pepper, green pepper if you like. Just mix that. And our meat comes back. Remember our meat, right? Mix that. Then our rice comes right in. Now you need a bit of muscle to do what I'm doing. I mean, it takes a girl of strength. Right? Get everything into that pot. Just going to mix. Let me tell you, this may look like a bit of a hassle to you, but the jollof rice made like this tastes far better than the one pot method where you start by frying the tomatoes and you're adding the rice and cook it in the tomatoes. With that method, you cook the spices a little too much and then the rice doesn't taste as flavorful when you're done. But when you cook it this way, the flavor, oh my god, the flavor is, everything is just so vibrant, so tasty. And what I do is I just let this to sizzle together, you know what I mean? Like the cook together. I'm not cooking the vegetables. But I just want everything to heat up nicely together. Then I turn off the heat. They have all sizzled together and it's ready. Now it's time for the taste test. Just take a look at that. Look at how the grains of parboiled rice I love how full the grains of the rice are, how round, and I love the fact that it's a little bit moist, but the rice is not like sticky. It's just perfect. I'm just going to go in and try it because you guys know I have to. Get some of that beef. Let me tell you, you can't beat this. This is 5-star Jelof. So good, so tasty. I can get all the flavors. It's not like just plain boring rice looking red but not as tasty. It tastes as good as it looks. If you've been making jollof rice the other one pot method where you fry the tomatoes and you add in all other ingredients and you cook it, I'm begging you to try this method. Do it just like you saw me doing, and I tell you the taste is going to blow you. Like, you will be so impressed by how tasty this is. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Go into your kitchen and make some jollof rice and leave me a comment. Send me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, or tweet me a picture. I love hearing from you guys. And if you liked the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Also, you could share this video on social media so other people get to see it. If you've not subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.